Good evening and good morning, geniuses. I hope you're doing well. Tonight, for me, I'm just continuing this conversation kind of about, I was talking about being burnt out, the INFJ burnout. Anyone gets burnt out at times. And I definitely go through those periods where I'm just going nonstop day after day after day after day, and it seems like it's never going to catch up with me. And then all of a sudden, bam, it just hits for a couple days in a row. So just to take a step back and maybe clarify better what I was saying in that burnout video. Yes, if you feel like you're at wit's end with people and you need to get away, then just do it. Whether it's 30 minutes or an hour or 2 hours, but then try to go back to normal life as soon as possible, because you don't want to stay in that loop of, kind of being a cave dweller or something, right? Because as you detach from the outside world, you're just going to go more and more into your head, and you're going to want to interact less and less with the outside world, and that's not a good thing. But there's two different, perhaps main forms of the burnout for the INFJ, and one is the temporary, and the other is the more long-term burnout, which is the one I think I experienced over the holidays, or over New Year's, I should say. And maybe that was you too. Maybe you had it at some point during the holidays or maybe you're about to. Maybe you haven't hit it yet and you're about to. Where you just get to that breaking point. And I don't remember if it happens to me every holiday season, probably, but just in different amounts, different forms. But I guess you just got to take each burnout as it comes. And obviously, as you get older, you learn more ways to manage it and that kind of stuff. But I didn't want to come across from that video as if everything is a 30-minute fix or an hour fix, or however I put it, because therein lies the paradox of the INFJ. Once again, we like to have simple techniques that work, and a lot of them do, maybe all of them, for different people at different times. But then you always have to plug in the real world factor, which is that not every event and situation is the same. So in this video, maybe it won't be as long as the last few, but I want to talk about the circle of friends that you have. And I'm just going to compare, like usual, to my own situation. And you can find the parallels and maybe the tips, whatever's interesting from that, and apply it to yourself in some way. For me, I've noticed more and more over the years that as an INFJ, dealing with those kinds of personality challenges, strengths and weaknesses, that I'm very aware of who I could let into my circle and who I do think is trustworthy, but most of the time I just choose not to let them in because of some reason, whatever that may be. And I guess it's different for each person, but for a lot of them it's the same. And one of the main reasons that we don't let people in is because we just like our freedom, our space, the solitude, and all those things that go with it that allow us to have our creativity and introspection. The list goes on and on. But I have a funny story that I can share with about that, because over the holidays, I have a neighbor that we have certain things in common, and he seems like a cool guy, and we get along great, which I haven't had a lot of those experiences with neighbors, but with him, I do. But I still don't want to get too close to him, even though I know he wants to hang out more, because in that short time, I've already seen him sort of make that request. Like, hey, do you want to do this? Do you want to basically hang out? I won't go into details, but they're like perfectly normal requests that I'm just not really interested in doing, because I want it to be more like a once every 2 or 3 months sort of friendship. And there's nothing wrong with the guy. I do like that we're friends and neighbors, and that's really cool. And it all started actually by my initiation. And now I'm looking at it like, oh, why did I do that? Because I should have known that eventually one of these neighbors that I'm trying to be friendly with, whether it's like, giving them some food or something, just being neighborly kind of things, one of them is going to want to spend more time. And really, I do too, but it's just I have so many other things going on, and it's not part of my main interest. And you see the problem there? That is definitely an INFJ problem. And I guess probably for a lot of introverts in general who like their solitude. So I don't know what the answer is to that, honestly, because I think there's always going to be that push-pull relationship, especially for INFJs, because we just aren't consistent about wanting to do outgoing, extroverted things. And we're a little bit more moody, perhaps, or we just need the energy to be just right to want to do it, because it does take a lot of energy for us, and we'd just rather be using our energy for other things, basically, that has to do with our own endeavors, adventures, creative projects, whatever you want to call it. So anyway, I just thought that was an interesting thing to be noted about INFJs, is that we are really great at making new friends and acquaintances, because we're easy to talk to, and we're very open to people. And even though we are very good at judging people, we don't mean to, usually. We don't try to. We look at them in the best light. Like, especially if we're just meeting somebody. Even if we notice certain things, we're okay with still making acquaintances. And hey, if it works out that we're friends later, then that's great. And we're open-minded. So we're judging, but not in a way that's bad. I'm not sure how else I can say that, but therein lies the issue of we can be very kind and open to new people, but then when even the right person shows up, or we realize, oh wow, this person does actually like me and wants to talk to me, and I don't want to. That's a weird predicament. That's really weird. In a good way, but what are you going to do about it, right? So I guess I don't have any amazing wisdom or recommendation on this topic of your circle of friends. But obviously, like everybody, we choose different people that, for whatever reasons, that we want to trust and really let them into the circle and tell them all the things about us that most people don't know. But probably for INFJs, that list is going to be really small. And maybe it should be for everybody, because honestly, how many really close friends can one person have and maintain? It's hard to do. I know me personally, it feels like every year or two, I've moved on to kind of new close acquaintances. And I feel like it's because I outgrow them. Not that they're bad people, but it's just my outlook on things is always expanding and changing. Or maybe I'm looking for different people to learn from and bounce ideas off of. You know, it's just such a wide world of reasons. But so I don't have any amazing advice in this one, just some thoughts that maybe you can apply and help decide how you go about making friends in this year and the weeks ahead. So that's all for now. I'll catch you later, geniuses.